Hi, my name is Keatski. Welcome to Yoga and Recovery, SOAR, Success Over Addiction and Relapse. These classes are designed to help combine a yoga program with 12-step program. And the yoga means yoke, it means to combine body, mind, and spirit. And I have a physical allergy, a mental obsession, and a spiritual malady. I've practiced yoga to assist me in my 11th step. And yoga is designed to help get the body comfortable in a seated position so that meditation can be less vexed by messages from your body saying, oh, my hips hurt, my knees hurt, my foot's falling asleep. All of those things that can happen when you're just trying to sit and clear your mind. But before you come to the 11th step, there is a series of steps before. And today we're looking at the 6th step. So just as the 12-step program is not a religious program, so too yoga is not a religious practice. It's a spiritual practice. And we need to reach to our higher power to help us out in many ways during our recovery. And sometimes in the poses, you might say, oh, help me, help me. So there is this higher power that can help us through the discomfort of growing as a result of the steps and a result of growing through the postures. The 6th step states that we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Now, these defects of character, how did we come about them? How did we come to identify them? And in fact, defects can be a jarring word, can become part of maybe a negative association. And S. Covington writes that these are not defects of character, but defenses of character, characteristics that we developed to protect ourselves as we were growing up, and maybe later even to justify our using. So we've developed some characteristics, and usually there are instincts that are either ratcheted up too high or not invoked strongly enough. So we'll investigate that through the practice. Practicing letting go and aparigraha, and brahmacharya, which is non-excess. So both in the practice, letting go, non-excess, being honest to what you're feeling, and looking at non-harming, combining all of these yoga practices and the first 5 steps of the principles of recovery programs, coming into your body, being here now. So please do sit upright, always starting with the breath, always starting with now. As you inhale and as you exhale, bring in just this present moment. Inhale the present moment. Exhale anything that was happening before you sat down on your mat. Inhale the present moment. And exhale any concern about what is going to happen later. This too becomes a practice of living in the present moment. 2 more full breath cycles, inhaling fully, exhaling completely. 1 more time, inhaling fully, and exhaling completely. Bring your chin to your chest and blink your eyes a few times. and lift your chin up. So the sixth step is really just asking us if we're ready to have a new life. Are you ready to do things differently, be differently, and move into a new way of being? Yoga asks us this too at every class. So if you're sitting on a blanket or a bolster, remove that now and come into long, straight-legged seated position. And flexing the feet, bringing the thighs down, lifting up on the lower abdominals, dropping the shoulders down, chin parallel to the ground, and gazing forward, hands next to the hips, seated mountain pose. The shoulders are back, drawing the belly in. Now we're going to become strong. We're going to invoke some strength to be able to look at character defects or defenses and become ready to let them go. Developing some strength. Bring your hands back. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the chest. Draw the toes toward the ground and lift the hips up. Reverse plank pose. Lifting the hips up, looking down toward your toes, or you can look up toward the ceiling, or you can tilt your head back. Now if I tilt my head back, I'm going to lose my head apparatus, so I won't demonstrate that. You can try it for yourself. And bring the hips down. Inhale, bring the arms up, and exhale, tipping from the hips. Come into flat back forward fold. And then round the back, drop the head down, coming into complete forward fold. Inhale, push down into the ground, lift up, bring the hands back, behind you one more time, roll the shoulders back, draw the toes toward the ground, and lift the hips up. Breathe here, bringing lots of strength here. So this is strength, stability, courage. Breathing, let the breath hold you up. Exhale, bring the hips down. Lean forward, inhale up. Exhale, tipping from the hips, come into forward fold, finding flexibility. So discipline in the forward fold as well as flexibility. This time as you inhale, reach forward. And then exhale, reach forward. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring the hands behind you, fingertips toward the bum. Roll the shoulders back, toes down, lift up. Try to bring the shoulder blades together in the back, supporting your chest, supporting your heart. And exhale, bring the hips down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, tip forward, drop the arms, and then round forward. The balance of strength and flexibility. Ready to make changes in your life. Not making them, but ready to make them. Inhale, flat back, walk the hands back towards your hips. And shake the legs out. And congratulate yourself. Bring the soles of the feet together, coming into butterfly pose. Hold on to your ankles rather than to the feet, and bring your hips forward, holding onto the ankles. Arch the back. Nice tall spine, shoulders down. Kind of check out how you're feeling. Here you might still be a little stiff in the hips, depending on what time of day you're taking this class. So be kind, listen, and be ready to make changes. Kind of tip forward a little bit, keeping your back straight. So rather than rounding the back here, it doesn't matter how far forward your head comes. What you're looking for is a way to find healthy sensation. So the back is long. You're tipping forward. You can bring the elbows onto the outside of the shins. Back straight. So with the straight back, you're going to find more sensation than with a rounded back. So allow yourself to moderate between extreme sensation and nothing. Balance here. And breathe. Imagine you could draw your knees in opposite directions. So a lot of the work in the 6th step happens on the inside. No one can tell you're doing the work. But you know, you can tell. So here in this pose, no one can tell what you're doing. So find a way to experience the pose within reason. Doing the work. Push down in the sides of your feet. Rise up. Extend your legs one more time. And shake them out a little bit. Scoot down so that you have plenty of mat behind you, so your heels may be at the front of the mat. Bring your arms down. So notice I'm sitting on my fingertips. You can choose to sit on your fingertips, or you can keep your hands out to the side. Sitting on your fingertips gives you a little bit more leverage, gives you a little bit more security here. Roll the shoulders back. Lift up, pardon me, your right leg. And then set it down and just kind of remark on what it feels like to lift this very long limb up. And lift up the other one and breathe. Shoulders back, lifting the heart, using your abdominal muscles. And bring that foot down. Both legs up. Using your abdominal muscles. So this is your powerhouse right here. Use your powerhouse to hold it up. Hold those legs up. Soften the shoulders though. They're kind of a prop here for you. And bring the feet down. Take a little break. So when you're using a lot of effort, it's nice to take a break and come back strong. Your breath will tell you if you're working too hard. Both legs up. And wide leg, right on top. Wide leg, left on top. Soften the shoulders. Wide leg, right on top. Wide leg, left on top. And continue. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you're using your abdominal muscles. Make sure you're not getting stressed in your neck and head. And if your breath begins to become short, if your shoulders are getting tense, you just stop and then start again. 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1 and down. Awesome work. Lie down. Bring your head down. And then bring your arms above your head. Stretch your toes and fingers in opposite directions. Point the toes, draw the fingers, bring the shoulders back toward the waist. Give yourself a delicious stretch here. Balance between effort and ease. So learning how to turn that dimmer switch on anger, on frustration, on procrastination, on even gloating, gossip, any of the attributes that we may want to look at. Exhale, bring the hands down toward the hips, bend the knees one at a time, both knees bent, both feet flat on the floor. Roll over to one side and come up into a seated position. Once again, legs long, sitting up straight. In this strong pose here. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, tipping from the hips, coming into forward fold. Once your back has tilted forward as much as is healthy, bring your hands down to the ground. After 2 breaths, you can round your back and you can hold on to your calves, your ankles, or your feet, whatever is available to you. And give yourself a nice forward fold stretch here. Breathe deeply as you savor this wonderful pose that's soothing to the mind. So find the balance, once again, of not trying too hard and not shirking. Bring the hands to the ground and walk your hands back to your hips and sit up straight. When I started, my forward fold was like this. I could barely tip forward. My legs were so tight, my back was in so much pain. I came forward like this, and I honored where that was so I didn't hurt my back and I wouldn't hurt my legs. So you find your forward fold and you just love it up. Just be in your forward fold rather than contorting or harming your body to be in that forward fold that you may see around you. And that's part of what the step 6 is about. What is my truth? Who am I? Swing the legs to the side, pivot around, come to hands and knees pose, preparing for downward facing dog. Using your abdominal muscles to help you up, tuck your toes, drop your heels away from you as you drop your head down. Lift the hips up as you push the heels down. Determine for yourself, what are you feeling? Where do you feel this pose? Wherever you feel this pose is perfect. Breathing here. Bring the right leg up toward the ceiling. Here's the trick. Bring the right knee toward the right wrist. Rock forward. And then send that leg back up. Bring the right knee toward the left wrist, bringing the shoulders over the wrists. And then send that leg back up. One more. Right knee to right wrist. And up you go. Right knee to left wrist. Up you go. Bring that right foot back down. Bring both knees down. Push back into child's pose. Working very hard and then coming to a moment of rest. Balance. Breathe here. Always take the opportunity to remind yourself to breathe in a fluid fashion as deeply as is possible for whatever pose you're in. Letting the jaw be released, the shoulders soft, and in this case, snuggling into the pose as best you can. Push down on the tops of the feet, rise up, bring the knees back under the hips, shoulders back over the wrists, tuck the toes, and into downward facing dog. A few breaths here, making friends with the pose this time. Breathe and stretch. Hips up, heels down. And now bring the left leg up toward the ceiling. Bring the left knee toward the left wrist, rocking forward till the shoulders are over the wrists. And bring the leg back up. Inhale here, exhale, left knee to right wrist. And bring the leg back up. One more time. Left knee to left wrist. And up you go. And left knee to right wrist. And up you go. Bring the left leg down. Bring both knees down. Back into child's pose. Notice the sensations of effort dissipate, go away, smooth out. So let as much return to normal as possible. What is normal? Neutral, or as neutral as you feel. Maybe you always have an ache in a shoulder or wrist. You might be coming back to that level of a low ache. Push down into the tops of your feet, rise back up, hands and knees pose, into downward facing dog. How does the downward facing dog feel now? Breathe. Experience the sensations in the body and know that wherever you feel it, it's right. It's perfect. Hot pain, sharp pain, a sudden negative sensation, come out of the pose. Walk the hands toward the feet and end up in a forward fold. Just like we've done before. Just hang here, head down, arms released, shoulders are rolling forward even. Just everything from the waist to the crown of the head, noodly. From the waist to the soles of the feet, strong and aligned. Even if the knees are bent slightly, the legs are very strong. If your knees are not yet bent, do bend them a little. Bring your weight to your heels. And on the inhale, come up slowly. Let that inhale last a long time. And at the top of the inhale, shoulders over hips, shoulders down, chin up. Here we are. And just check in with the body, see if you've warmed up somewhat. The shoulders and the arms, the hips, legs, and feet. So while the first 3 steps were your foundation steps, that's like the sensation of the feet on the ground. We're moving now through the integration steps, through steps 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9. And that's integration. That's how we become more familiar with ourselves and do the work it is to become closer to who we're meant to be. And then we'll have the expression, the dignity steps, which are 10, 11, and 12. So right now, find the foundation of the pose. Begin the process of integration, bringing your attention to the sensations of the calves, knees, engaging the thighs and the glutes and the lower abdominals, lifting from the lower ribs and hugging the lower ribs in and back. And then moving into expression with the shoulders down, neck long, chin parallel to the ground, and that gaze straight ahead toward the horizon so you can look people in the eye and hold yourself in dignity. Life on life's terms. All right. So come to the front end of your mats and standing tall here. We're going to do poses and I'm going to ask you to modify them, make them a little smaller just to see what that would be like. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, wing the arms straight out from the shoulders. Pause here. Inhale. Exhale, hinge from the hips, bending forward. Pause here, chest parallel to the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, round the back and drop the fingertips down. Inhale, bringing your hands just below the kneecap, fingertips down, straighten the legs, the back, and the arms. One more time, exhaling, coming down into that forward fold.
And do bend your knees, do touch the ground, and step back with the right foot. Once you have your foot back there, and it might be really far back there, hop it forward 6 inches. Yeah. Push down in the left foot, hand on the left thigh. So your thigh may no longer be parallel to the ground. It might be at an angle, still with the knee over the ankle. This is a more moderate pose. Push down into the feet. Tuck the hips under, bringing the spine so that it is perpendicular to the mat. Nice. Feel the feet. Integrate the legs, belly, hips, waist. Draw yourself up, and now let the arms float forward and then up. So this is a more moderate pose. It might not be as elaborate as you have held before. What does it feel like to be in moderation? Not too large a pose and not too small. Pull up on the back kneecap. Reach up. Reach back a little bit. Make your body into a little bit more of a crescent, but keep the front knee bent. And up you come. Hands down to the knee. Hands down to the ground. Hop that back foot back a little further. And now bring the left foot back also. And then bring the knees down. So you might be used to full plank. Come into modified plank. So both legs are back. Both knees are on the ground. And either your toes are tucked or your toenails are down. Shoulders are over the wrists. Pull up on the abdominals. Modified plank pose. Breathe here. Push down on the first knuckle of each forefinger. Yeah. So with this modified plank, you have some time to get into little details. Draw the shoulders back towards your hips. Pull up on the abdominals. Soften your heart. Soften your jaw. Tuck your toes and push up into downward facing dog. Breathe here and check out what it's like. Again, to be in downward facing dog. Lift the hips up. Draw the heels down. Draw the shoulders toward the waist. Bring your right foot between your two hands. Now the left leg is really far back there. Hop it forward about a foot. Bring your hands to your right knee and come up. Feel your feet. Engage those amazing legs. Pull up on the lower abdominals. Adjust the shoulders, pulling up on that kneecap. Bring the arms forward. Find your balance here. If your balance isn't all that great right now, you can have a chair next to you or be next to a wall. And bring the arms up. Pull up on that back kneecap. Use the abdominals and lean back just a little bit, keeping the right knee bent over the ankle. Inhale up and exhale. Bring the hands down. Lean forward a little bit. Hop that back foot forward and roll your shoulders back. Come to stand and check out how your body feels. And see if not even a more moderate pose can still give you some yummy sensation of stretch, strength, and balance. One more time. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale. Come into flat back with the arms straight out from the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, round the back and come down. Inhale into monkey pose. Breathing smoothly and slowly. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale. Take the left foot back. Turn the foot sideways. Draw the left arm back. Stand up, preparing for warrior. Now, if your foot was very far back, draw it forward. So find a more moderate pose here. Bring the arms up parallel to the ground, bend the right knee, and draw the right knee toward the right pinky toe. Center your body between your knees, between your ankles, so that you're more upright. Your spine is perpendicular to the ground. Breathe here. Pushing down into the feet. Swing the left arm down, pivot around, bring the left heel up, coming into that beautiful crescent lunge pose. Draw the left arm forward and down, pivot back, coming into warrior pose. Left arm down, pivot around, heel up, coming into crescent lunge. Drop the arm down, pivot back, coming into your warrior pose. Beautiful. Breathe. Center the torso between the ankles, coming back into that pose. Now you feel that from repetition and from movement there might be some effort that you're feeling. Even though you're in a moderate pose, feeling a little effort. Drop the left arm down, coming back into crescent. Really steady yourself with the back leg, exhaling, bringing the arms forward and back. Lean forward, bringing your chest over the right thigh. Inhale, come back up into your crescent. Exhale, arms back, chest parallel to the ground. Inhale, up you come. And one more time, exhale. And inhale. Breathe here. Next, exhale, bring the hands down onto the ground. Step back with the right foot. Bring the knees down into that modified plank. Toes down, shoulders over the wrists. Breathe here, pulling up on the abdominals, pushing down on the first knuckle of the index finger. Soften the shoulders and the jaw. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, coming into downward facing dog. Inhaling and exhaling smoothly and evenly, deep and slow. Bring the right foot forward in between the hands. Bring the left foot forward in between the hands. Sorry, folks. Nice. And hop the back foot forward, draw the right arm back and pivot so that you're now in warrior pose. So remain right where you are. I'm going to change my orientation so that I can gaze upon you. Nice. So if you're in an extreme warrior pose, make sure you've pulled that back foot forward so that you're in a less extreme warrior pose. And the torso is balanced in between the ankles and the shoulders are down. The arms are up. Nice, delicious inhale. Exhale, drop the right arm down, pivot up on the heel, coming into your crescent pose. Inhale. Exhale, arm down and pivot. Push down on the outer edges of your feet. So you're still in your really secure, strong warrior. And drop the back arm down, pivot. And breathe. And one more time, pivot into warrior. And last time, Pivot back into lunge crescent. And gain confidence in your legs, your structure, your integration. Exhale, bring the arms back and the chest over the legs. Inhale, up, pushing down into the feet and rise up. Balance, strength, and flexibility. Exhale. Front of body to thigh, and inhale. Up you come. Use your glutes. They will help you a lot. One last time. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, bring your hands down. This time, step the left foot back. Reach into downward facing dog. Come forward, bringing the knees to the ground, and rest back in child's pose. A lot of effort and a little bit of ease. So it's only by doing the previous 5 steps that you come to the point when you can look at these defenses or defects of character. They've been revealed to you through your inventory and through discussions with your sponsor or other person when you did your 5th step. So kind of the 6th step is an adjuster step, and it requires working your whole life through. Just like the poses require working and adjustment your whole life through. Push down into the tops of your feet, rise back up, bring the knees under the hips, tuck the toes up into downward facing dog. Bring your right foot forward, in between your hands. Nice. Bring your left foot forward, in between your hands. Forward fold. Inhale, bring the arms wide. Come up halfway, straight back. Push down into the feet, rise up the rest of the way. Arms up, reach up. Using all of your core muscles, tip back just a little bit. Feel that stretch in the front of your body. And up you come. Hands together in front of your heart. Communion between you and your higher power. And hands down to your sides. Well done. Check in, see how you're feeling. Where do you feel the effects of the effort? Become familiar with how your body responds. And listen to it. It says, oh, it's feeling a little this way, or it's feeling a little that. One more strong pose. Bring the arms up, thumbs back. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, sit into awkward pose or chair pose. Bringing the weight to your heels, drawing the knees back as far as you can without falling. Using your lower abdominals, and let your back have its curves. Breathe here. Push down into your feet, rise up. And exhale, wing the arms out and down, and take a moment, take a pause. Finding out if balance as well as strength and flexibility are available in this moment. Bring the arms up and overhead. Exhale, come into chair pose. Moderate it. Not as far as you normally would go. Modify it, moderate it. Bring the hands together in front of your heart. Take your right elbow towards your left knee. Yeah. Bring your weight to your left foot.
and bring your right foot back, coming into lunge. It doesn't have to be very far. So prayer, twist, lunge. Breathe. Bring the right foot forward. Come into the center prayer twist before the prayer twist to the right side. And bring the left elbow to the right leg. Using your abdominals and the strength of your right leg, pass the balance to the right leg and take the left leg back. And breathe here. You can gaze down toward the ground. You can gaze directly in front of you. You can turn your head toward the ceiling. Bring the left foot forward. Center your pose. Drop your hands down and dangle here. Bending and stretching the legs a few times. Let go of the effort. Let go of the buildup of the effort. Bring the hands next to your toes. Bend your knees a lot. Bend your knees a lot. Bend your knees a lot. And then bring the right knee down. And then the left knee down. Tuck the toes. And sit back onto your heels. Now, if your feet say, "This is not happening, baby," then you put your toenails down, or you lean forward for a moment and release that stretch. We're stretching the back of the feet, and we're flexing, getting lots of flexibility in the toes. Very healthy for the feet. But you build up to it over a course of time. I've been doing this for a while, and I knew I was going to do it today, so my body's been warned. So you just come into the pose and leave the pose. For some people, this is nothing. For other people, that's just like, I'm not doing this. Lean forward, everybody. Put your fingertips on the floor. Put your toenails down and sit back for a moment. Ooh. Powerful pose. Try it a little bit, let go a little bit. Just like when we're working with our character defects, we work on them a little bit at a time. They change over time. Our attitude about them changes over time. And swoop the legs around. Nice. And bring the soles of the feet to the ground. Holding onto the back of the thighs, lie back, preparing for bridge pose. Bridge pose can be done a number of ways. Today we're going to do sustained bridge through our own contribution. So rather than using a block or doing a supported bridge, we're going to come into bridge using our own strength. So heels come pretty close to the bum, the toes pointing directly away. And for the first bridge, bring your upper arms down onto the mat, your fingertips toward the ceiling, creating a right angle, forearm to upper arm. Push down into the ground with the elbows, letting the chest rise up. Tuck your shoulder blades behind you, and then set your upper back down on your retracted shoulder blades. Elbows down, feet down. Inhale. Exhale, up you come. And breathe here. I always have a discussion with my headset here, and I don't want to squish it or break it at this moment. Not that I ever want to, but there's a little discussion going on here. So push down into your feet, lifting your hips up, pushing the elbows down, allowing yourself to have the fullest expression of this pose. And on your next exhale, take the exhale slowly and bring the back down slowly, one vertebra at a time, slowly until your whole back is down. Bring your hands down and take a breath. This is quite an active pose.
Everybody has their own spinal flexibility. This time leaving the hands flat on the mat, palms down, push down into the feet, and rise up. So have the hips rise up, and then push down on the palms of your hands. So keep your head flat on the floor, and lift the shoulders up. This is such a useful pose. I really think it's beneficial to work on this pose. So putting the hands down, pushing the feet down, rise up, and then on your exhale, bring the spine back down slowly, one vertebra at a time. And last time. Pushing down into the feet, pushing down into the whole length of your arm. Bring your hips up. Pushing down, lifting your hips up, and then if you like, you can interleave your fingers with one another behind your back and draw your knuckles towards your heels. So your arms are reaching towards your heels in this pose. One more breath in. Disentangle your fingers, and on the exhale, bring the spine down slowly, slowly, slowly. This is again one of those poses that take a lot of effort with maybe not as much visible change in the pose. And then bring your knees into your chest one at a time so that you can hug them in and rock from side to side. And bring the soles of your feet back down onto the ground. Bring your right knee into your chest. Hold behind your thigh, behind your calf, your ankle, or hold on to your right big toe. And stretch that foot toward the ceiling. And then extend your left leg out onto the ground, flexing that foot as well. So both feet are flexed. And it doesn't really matter if you're holding behind your calf or your thigh or your ankle or holding your toe. What you want to do is experience a sensation of stretch without causing difficulty in your shoulders. So when we're working on one defect of character, we don't want to aggravate another. So by choosing to no longer procrastinate, it doesn't mean that I want to drive the rest of my family to distraction as I try to get things done around the home. So I don't want to trade bossiness for procrastination. I want to keep all of my attributes in some kind of order, and I don't want to have the hamstring stretch cause my shoulder difficulty. Drop the right leg to the right a little bit. Keeping the left hip heavy and the left heel heavy, even stretching the left arm out to your side to allow the body to remain stable in this pose. Bring the sole of the foot back up toward the ceiling, bend the knee back into the chest, hug the knee in, and then extend that leg onto the ground. Shake the legs out. Bend both knees. Bring the left knee into the chest. Hug it in. And then hold behind the calf or behind the thigh, or hold your hand up at the ankle, or take your peace sign fingers from the left hand and wrap them around your left great toe. Once you're situated, extend the right leg out. That's going to change the sensation of stretch, just stretching that right leg. We're working toward bringing the shoulder closer to the ground. Of course, it'll be curved because your arm isn't the equal length of your leg. But we're working toward having more of the back be on the ground than less. And really stretching that right leg away from you, the heel away from you, the leg toward the ground. Feel that sensation of stretch. And breathe. Bring the leg out toward the side. Bringing the right hand out to the ground or next to the hip, but allow yourself to have some form of stability here as you're stretching the left leg to the left. And breathe. Bring the foot back toward the ceiling. And bring the knee back into the chest and hold it in. And then extend it out. And appreciate the sensation of length. Appreciate what you feel. Bend both knees. Bring both knees into the chest once again. Bring your arms straight out from your shoulders and drop both knees over to the right side. Let the knees be heavy. They don't necessarily touch the ground. And for today, try to allow the shoulders to remain on the ground. And if the knees dangle, let them dangle. And then work toward softening that sense of gripping and holding, and just let the body take care of itself rather than you taking care of the body taking care of you. And begin to bring the breath down to a slower pace. Inhaling a little more smoothly, maybe a little more deeply, and exhaling more slowly and more completely. Notice what happens when you do that 3 or 4 times. Letting go. Inhale, bringing awareness to your core, and exhale, engage your core and roll onto your back. Inhale here and exhale, dropping the knees over to the left side. And do that same adjustment of feeling the shoulders on the ground and then allowing the legs to dangle or hover. And bring your awareness to the muscles that are holding on. And see if you can encourage them to let go. Letting go, a huge part of all the steps, a huge part of all the principles, and a huge part of the practice of yoga. And bringing awareness to the breath and to the core. Inhale fully. And on the exhale, draw the knees onto the chest, rolling onto your back. And you rock the knees from side to side for a moment, and then bring your feet down onto the mat. Bring the hands, palms up next to the hips. And then extend your legs onto the mat, if you so choose. Closing your eyes here. Moving into the space of Shavasana or tranquility, surrender. Bringing your attention to your breath and letting the back of your body release completely to the ground. Let the front of your body soften. No need for gripping or holding. In the 12 and 12, when reading about step 6, and this is a very yogic step. It's a step that brings us and our awareness to the excesses of behaviors, desires, attachments. And this is really what yoga is advising us or permitting us or inviting us to do, is to let go of extremes. And here in step 6, it helps us work through what are these excesses. It talks about the enjoyment of self-righteous anger. It talks about the comforting feeling of superiority, or gossip barbed with anger, and how we're really only trying to help those we criticize, trying to proclaim our own righteousness. It discusses gluttony, that even when we don't move into obesity, that gluttony of any kind can be ruinous. That excesses warp the way that we can find satisfaction and comfort in life, because we look for the extremes. And really, what we have is enough. Who we are is enough. And the idea of embracing the attributes we do have, rather than searching madly for attributes that other people possess but are not ours. That grasping for things that are remote to us causes suffering. Or here in the 12 and 12, it calls it excessive misery. So really that question comes, are we ready to open up to a new way of life? And that's what step 6 offers us. It's the invitation to open up to a new way of life. Are we entirely ready? That's it. Are we ready? Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Move your fingers and your toes. Draw your knees into your chest. Roll over to one side and push yourself up into a seated position. Hands together in front of your heart. Bow your head, honoring yourself for choosing to do this with your time. I'm delighted that you joined me.
Namaste.